Alright. It's gonna be a bit of a delay, but we're gonna start now. Let's see how the UI looks like now. Is it readable at all? Maybe I'll make it slightly bigger. So the new thing for this one is going to be you get to nominate nations for 3 awards. This is going to be the Segment of Our Europe Award, the Victorian Victon Award, and the Ultimate Underdog Award. And you nominate it throughout the Tierlist, and at the end you guys are gonna vote for it. So it's this one I'm not going to choose. And of course the thing is you can buy additional votes with the channel points. Of course. And you can also move the nations on the tier list like before, naturally. So, with that thing being done, is the sound okay, by the way? I think it should. Don't think I changed anything for from the previous time, but it's been like a month, so who knows. Okay, nice. So let's go, and like always we're gonna start with the roulette. Oh, there's going to be 3 nominations just from the roulette, just, you know, so there's someone on the tier list. And we start with Japan. Okay, it's actually interesting. I was wondering what's Japan like currently, so it's a good start. I feel like I don't remember anything from this game, how you play it at all, so it's a good thing I'm doing this day before. Preserve free trade. Okay, I guess. How big is the radicalism? Oh, should be fine. It's actually it's only 56k individuals more loyal if it succeeded. It's not that many. I don't think they are the greatest art producer in the world. Pretty sure that's either Austria or Germany. Yeah, Germany and India, apparently. Germany is producing more than the rest of the top 3. They're producing a ton, god. So anyways, let's start with Japan. Let's start from the top. Currently they still have their Shinto monks because apparently their ability is broken, but they are not using it currently. Wait. Oh wait, that's Shinto. Oh, I guess they switched at some point from the Buddhist one. The Buddhist one, if they get to 20 or was it 10 approval? No, 10 approval and 20% clout. They give you minus 100% radicals from reductions of life quality. So that's a pretty strong bonus. But I guess they changed it because of the their journal entries, or maybe they just didn't like the play being pretty easy with almost no radicals. They currently have quite a few, but the revolution is not going to fire as things are. Let's see what their other not that much legitimacy, but it's not too bad for the time being if they just want to pass something. Landowners getting pretty weak. Shinto monks still pretty strong, but pretty doable. The Heimin, so that's rural folk, I think, in most nations. They are pretty strong, so they must have a lot of farmlands and stuff like that. They are switching from free trade to protectionism. I'm curious why they are actually doing this, just to get more tariffs? They are apparently exporting some glass to people. Let's see, big stuff. They are importing grain from Germany and United States, which is as far as you could possibly importing from. Oh, Brazil is already in the South American market. I didn't even notice that before. They are importing some fabric, exporting some tools, but at this point of the game it's not even that many. Importing a lot of dye, I have huge problem with dye. And they are mostly importing stuff. They're exporting some stuff to Germany and Great Britain, but it's not huge amounts. I'm curious, why would they even go to protectionism? Maybe no. That's is it because of this? Maybe to make landowners like them more. I mean, it's not like bad. I'm just curious why they're going through it, making the industrialists pissed off quite a bit. Okay. But anyways, other than that, they have monarchy, they have wealth voting. What's their monarch? It's an industrialist pacifist. So that's at least good, because with monarchy, it's very hard to have a government with high legitimacy if your monarch is not in the government. Monarch's interest group is not in the government. So they probably will be able to play with an industrialist in their government for the majority of the time, and then another industrialist again, so it should be fine. And national supremacy is absolutely fine for Japan. Freedom of conscience, which probably should matter, or do they have... they do have actually a fair split of Mahayama and Shinto. So that's nice for them. They have pretty much all accepted then. Hereditary bureaucrats, which is not necessarily optimal, because it reduces bureaucracy, but over the course of the game, institution cost way more than just population cost. So it's better, and also reducing the power of aristocrats. Probably they just didn't get around to fixing it, because they actually have a fair amount of endorsement for this. Maybe they will make landowners happy enough to pass this with the protectionism thing, so maybe that's the reason. Professional army, gnome, home affairs, which I think home affairs is not that important. It's nice, pretty much all of those are pretty nice, but for different reasons, but it's not necessary. Agrarianism, so probably that's where the power of farmers is coming from, at least partially. Proportional taxation, that's a rare one. They are actually gaining more than per capita taxation at this point of the game, so this is the most optimal tax system for them currently, which is pretty nice. They have it already done. They already have homesteading, so that's also limiting the power of the landowners. Local police force, that's probably needs to be fixed. Colonial exploitation, I wouldn't think they have any colonies, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe, hard to say. Did they colonize this stuff? Maybe. I honestly have no clue if they start like this. There's, yeah, they probably colonized at least some of it, because, yeah, certainly here. So yeah, that's nice. It's always something. It's not worth much, but you know, just for the RP, I would do it just for the RP, honestly. So yeah, religious schools. So that's where part of the power of the church comes from, and they have level 3, that's always the problem. If you increase the level of the institution, it also increases the power the church gets. Public healthcare. That's nice. Censorship, no workers' rights, child labor. Nothing new here, I think. Probably they start with something like this. And they have level 1 health system, and level 3 education, level 2 colonial affairs, and level 1 law enforcement. Okay, not... Yeah, they're spending almost 3,000 on institutions and only 1,000 on the actual population, so as you can see, it's much better to have the elected bureaucrats. But you know, you can't have everything. They are, when it comes to budget, they are having a healthy surplus, well, negative balance, but a good amount of reserve. And they can even increase, they can't increase to the max, but they can easily get a positive balance. or even just by reducing. Oh, it wasn't updating for a second for some reason. Yeah, they could actually just reduce the maybe not to the -2 because then intelligence would get pissed off, but they could reduce the wages as well and save a good amount of money this way. So that's their money situation is absolutely fine. Buildings. They are producing a fair amount of tools and glass. Number 10 producers of tools. That's pretty nice. It's something. Glass is having a renaissance. Yeah, Japan is number 10 in glass, just behind China. Glass is used in building, in construction sectors now, so it's very important. Decent amount of paper mills, getting some first explosives, steels, motor industries. That's a waste. They could just import it from Austria. This one I don't get. Yeah, they're not. Doesn't seem like they're focusing on anything in particular. Just going pretty much into like everything with a little bit. They are getting into top 10 production in a lot of things, so that's something. Let's see those. Number 8 in liquor. They are getting there. Probably not that high in furniture. Yeah. Some people are producing a ton of furniture. Just wow, China is still overwhelming, dominating the production. Decent amount of coal and iron. Sure, what the... Oh yeah, they don't have the dynamite tax, so that's actually limiting their production of resources, raw resources by a fair amount, but still they're number 10. Not a significant producer of coal. Let's be honest, when they are producing less stuff than Mexico, you know, things are dire. And they are number 10 in a surprising amount of categories. They're producing a lot of tea. Number 4 in tea. Okay. They have dyes, and they are still importing a ton. Yeah, I need to start producing dyes myself. Silk, bananas, whaling. I wonder if there are significant... Yeah, number 7 producent of oil because of the whales. God damn you, Japan. Persia is already number 1 with almost 1,000 units of oil. Probably for the British market. Japan is in their own market, right? Yeah. 100 units with a... Well... Not the best production method for barracks, but you do what you do. A fair amount of universities, though they could build more and just to get the cap of innovation, and even building over the cap for innovation, as it turns out, is also worth it because you gain bonus to technology spread. So if you're behind, it's definitely worth it to just build universities everywhere. And now let's quick look at the market. Opium, the clippers. They are still using clippers? They are. Okay, I guess that is going to make a trade tough for them, but they're going for protectionism anyways, so I guess that's not going to be that big of a deal. They are producing some ships, right? Yeah, 6. Oh, because they switched to steamers and the production method to steamers, and there's nothing buying steamers in their country because their ports are still using the previous method. Yeah, that's... I mean, it's probably not a big deal, but yeah, for 2 years they're gonna have a bit of an issue with expensive ports and not working shipyards. So maybe should fix that for the time being. They are actually producing not enough arts even for their own country. So it should be probably fixed. Yeah, I still need more coal, more sugar, apparently, of all things. Yeah, basic goods. Lack of fish. That's interesting. I would think Japan of all places would have enough fish. They are having a bit of an issue with basic goods, so they're still in a build-up phase. They are doing okay on glass and steel and tools. Grain is also fine. Engines are used for a lot of things. Iron is very cheap. Silk, oil, probably only used by population, so not that important. A lot of lead, which is going to be important for glass production. Very cheap sulfur. Maybe I should buy sulfur from them. Is it possible to turn my microphone volume? It might be possible. Let me see. It's not easy, unfortunately, but let's try it. I guess I can just do it with an analog way of moving the microphone closer. Okay, this should be slightly better. Maybe a bit of a pop. A bit more of a pop with some sounds, but it should be fine. Okay, this market is still in a build-up phase, still missing up some basic goods, but they are not importing massive amounts of stuff, and they are in their own market, so it's pretty natural state. Like Italy, for example, was in this similar situation, and all great powers were in this situation, except maybe Great Britain in first session. So it's just they need a bit more time in this, I think. Army is not much to speak of, it's just, you know, basic stuff. Actually, let me check, do they have any... They have trade agreement with Great Britain, China, and US, so that's interesting, actually. I don't think they actually trade with China in a significant quantity. Yeah, not that much. I wonder, did I set up? Yeah, it's actually I set up the trade routes with Japan, but actually forgot about it. Okay, let's look at the tech. So production, they have finished the entire second era, I think that's second era. Yeah, and they have rubber massification. I wonder, can they build rubber anywhere? Rice vineyards. It doesn't seem like they can, like it will show up here, right? They can build more gold mines, which would probably be good, but there's minus 40% construction efficiency here. Why is that? Is it because people are, yeah, turmoil? Probably would be good to build here, because with gold mines people get super high quality of life and they get super happy. Rubber is, oh yeah, rubber is in the resource tab, which is kind of weird because it's a plantation and it's not with other plantations. I mean, you can say that, like, what's the difference between dye and rubber when it comes to industry? Okay. They apparently can build some in New Guinea, potentially, eventually, if they get enough colonies, but that might not be that easy. So maybe. And also, maybe some of it is not discovered yet. Oh, lead mines in here. That's interesting. Do not see anything right now, but maybe something's going to show up eventually. So a fair amount behind. Oh, they also have reinforced concrete. That's very nice because it gives you more just straight up construction. Yeah, but missing dynamite, which is very important. They could get nitroglycerin, but it gives a huge penalty to mortality in states, so it's not always best to get it. But when it comes to raw resources, dynamite is like the best thing. Far from oil, but it's not like they need it much. Yeah, they're just not too much behind, but they definitely need to be still catching up. Military, they have only second era finished, only ironclads from the next era. Getting modern nursing by spreading, going for ports pretty soon, which is probably a good idea, but they're going also for protectionism, so I'm not sure how useful is that going to be. Especially now since they are not using their... well, I guess they needed to actually use their steamships. to have any use of steamships in their nation, so I guess it's worth it just for that. But they do not have shrapnel artillery, a bit behind on military, but that's especially the land base, like that's the thing you want to get behind to catch up on the rest of stuff, and then you can get more military. And yeah, H2. I thought there was like a indicator of age on the side, but I guess not. H2 finished, yeah, which it is very important to finish the text by age, because you get huge penalties for unfinished technologies from previous ages. And they're going for mutual funds, which is, I guess, minting is nice. Yeah, maybe they're going for more companies. Not really rushing this. Maybe they're going for agriculture? Commercial agriculture. They do not have the steel frame buildings, which they might not be even able. They have 26 construction sectors of iron frame. If they raised their taxes and lowered their by how much they can, they could easily afford at least a few more construction sectors. I'm not sure if that's the most worth it thing right now for them, but they are almost finished anyway, so I think like the ports and dynamite are definitely more worth it currently for Japan. Not going for cameras yet, but it's fine. Film is only coming next in the next era, so they can wait. And yeah, they're pretty much done with the second era, but only starting on the third, so that means they're a bit behind. They have pretty much all of their pops accepted, 99.9%. That's wow. And they have this thing shows up. I didn't even realize there's a tooltip like this over here. This is actually a very important information. Shows you there's what's chance per week to start a secession movement is. Okay, that's very useful. No. Population, let's see those peasants. Yeah, they have 22 million more peasants. Which is, they have a huge potential for more industrialization. They're already number 11 when it comes to GDP. And yeah, they will get out of here. They will definitely outdo Mexico probably this session. Will they be able to? No, probably they won't be able to catch up to Italy, but who knows? Maybe, like almost 60% of their population is peasants. They have to just build stuff. Yeah, I don't know, fellas. I think Weeaboos are gonna overwhelm Mexico. I don't see much of a chance, unfortunately. They probably should just focus on building anything in as much quantity as possible, just to get those peasants to work, and then they could really skyrocket. I think they have a huge potential for this session. This might be their getting into top 10, and then they might make a deep run. I mean, like, doubling their GDP is not impossible, I guess, but that would require everyone else to stay in place, which I don't think is gonna happen. So I'm pretty sure they're gonna get into top 10, but I'm not sure how far. And they have mining companies, which is pretty good because you get plus 30% to building them. Really nice. He should just focus on building this stuff just to get people working, and maybe like switch one of those into a lodging company at some point and just build a lodging industry everywhere. Might not be a bad idea. Okay, so let's think, where should I put Japan in this current situation? So they're about to have their big session. I guess it's in the B spot because they have a huge potential, but it's not being realized just yet. It's been like, what, 4 sessions, and only now they're getting into the game. That's the sad state of being Japan in Victoria Free. Could have been worse, actually, when I think about it. Yeah, it all depends also where I put Mexico, because Japan is definitely above Mexico. And it's Portugal. Okay. And not this one. Not this one. This one. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Portugal and the huge colonial empire. Let's see how things have changed since the last time. They have a deficit instantly. First issue. And some transportation shortages. They must have changed the production method of something. Or maybe just it's all in colonies. So maybe they were just not building railways there. They're not importing enough engines. Yeah, that's first thing, because they're part of British market. Let's see how the British market is doing. They have a big problem with engines, which is actually an issue considering their they have a huge shortage of transportation. Actually, thinking about this, me and Great Britain are still embargoing each other from the previous sessions. Maybe something can be done about this transportation issue in the British market. High price on fertilizer, but that's not as big of a deal, I guess. High price of glass, which is pretty big deal for construction, and Portugal is is on the third production method. Actually, let me check. Japan had a bit more construction sectors, but probably has much less. Yeah, 160 construction points. Just so I know what the baseline is. Yeah, pretty sure they have colonial exploitation. Yeah, I think it's like the only good one. You get frontiers when you have it from the start, because language and attraction, I guess it's not terrible. Yeah, I think if you're switching to any colonial laws, you either want exploitation or no colonial affairs if you're not doing colonizing. At least that's what I heard. I didn't really play with colonies myself. So glass is an issue. It's probably a problem for everyone except maybe India. I don't know if they switched yet. Paper is an issue. And that's actually a big problem for goods for government buildings. Yeah, that's basically, if they reduce it by 10%, that wouldn't be that much, but still, fair amount of gold spent every week just on paper. Yeah, if you're never incorporating, so how I would view colonies, exploitation is best. Resettlement, I think, is like you're not gonna get majority in most places anyways. But I guess if you're in a big market, you can use it to try to steal pops from other people, possibly. Yeah. I haven't played with it enough, but like I think the ideal way to play is just to accept everything and incorporate everything, right? As in, not discriminate any pops. I think that's the ideal way to play. In the current, at least, state of the game. Wood is a bit expensive. They are still having a shortage of cloth somehow, despite producing like a ton. Yeah. India and Great Britain are top 3 producers, both of them. And finally, other goods are actually okay. So coal, steel, they are not cheap. Even iron is comparatively not. In most places, I think it's over minus 10. Lead at least is cheap. Sulfur is cheap. Yeah, so it's the British market is still not ideal, but at least you'll get everything you want. Just the question is if you'll get it in decent enough numbers. Like just the engines, art, that's glass, those are problematic goods. They will probably want to focus a bit more. But let's check the government. They have a huge amount of trade unions. Okay, that might be the first nation with so many at this point. very unique government with everyone in it, and they have 100% legitimacy. That's actually pretty nice. Monarchy, universal suffrage, cultural exclusion. Probably. I wonder if they're going to be going for multiculturalism. If they're not incorporating, I guess it's not that important. Professional army, secret police, appointed bureaucrats, which is not the ideal thing. I think appointed bureaucrats is honestly the weakest one in the great scheme of things. Interventionism, mercantilism, which are fine. I mean, I think laissez-faire, I think that's how you pronounce it, is the best in this game. Just the loan interest rate reduction, the amount of buildings capitalists can build is just absolutely huge. So I think it's the best in the grand scheme of things. But interventionism is not bad. Mercantilism is fine. Proportional taxation as well, though they would actually gain more if they had per capita taxation, but long term, of course, proportional should be better, as long as their quality of life improves, which it's not that high, but it should improve eventually. I wonder if it calculates in every or just incorporated. Yeah, I wonder where monarch is and intelligentsia, and then it's going to be petite bourgeoisie. They're going to be fine. The monarch, yeah, if you can get monarch in the good interest group, that's going to be huge for your legitimacy. Oh yeah, let's check their quality of life. Wait, where is it? Yeah, it's okay. 12, and it's still impoverished. They have very high. It's fine. I guess it's counting the colonies. There's no way. Yeah. Even some of the colonies. 12. They must have gold mines, of course. Gold mines. Yep. Gold mines is the way to live in Victoria. Who would have thought? Like currently people in Transvaal have the 12 average. Actually is better than all of Portugal proper, of course. Yeah, they have really good literacy in their cores. That's the nice thing about unincorporated colonies. The literacy only counts in your core states, so they can actually hit the 90, which is very nice. They probably have a pretty good tech just because of the literacy. The technology spread actually counts for way more than what you're choosing to research. It's like, yeah, what you're choosing to research is only 1/4 of your actual research. Okay, dedicated police force, still religious schools and charity hospitals. How powerful are there? Yeah, the Catholic Church is still strong in Portugal, 20% of clout. That's pretty strong. Migration controls, slavery ban, nothing changed here. Actually, not that many changes in the grand scheme of things in the laws of Portugal, to be honest. Like universal suffrage, maybe something over here. Probably they didn't have freedom of conscience at the beginning. Secret police, probably dedicated police force is new, and this stuff is new. Maybe something in the economic system and trade policy, but overall not that many changes. Health system only at number 2. Education at number 4, but that's still not as effective as yeah, that's probably because of the high literacy, I guess. I guess that's how they're doing this. It's not like they have a bit of everything, but not they're not a powerhouse when it comes to industry, especially since a good chunk of the stuff they're having input shortages. Is it because of the It's not because of infrastructure. What? Oh yeah, shortage of transportation. Yeah, that's something that needs to be fixed. Yeah, this is 1% of the Portugal GDP is one of their free cores. It's not ideal, I don't think. Even Extremadura, supposedly the capital is not that strong. I guess the population is not big, but they're not really producing any. They're not really focusing on anything, which I guess it's fine. But yeah, I'm not sure. Let's see their cloud. Okay. They have universal suffrage, which is also helping a lot. Yeah, it's just they got good elections. And their leader is an alcoholic, of course, and also from colonies, direct, which is giving a yeah. It's not like this. Is this the leader? Should be, right? Yeah, probably a lot of the GDP is in like the colonies. Yeah, Transvaal is the same amount as their best core. Vristad is even more. Actually, I can just see it over here. No, I cannot see. I think there should be a menu where I can see. Maybe not here. I don't remember. Oh, market. Yeah, it shows the. Can I like exclude nations? Yeah, I can sort by country, but that doesn't then sort by GDP. Not really. So that's not ideal. Let's see stuff. Yeah, Peira over a million. Extremadura, that's core. North Angola, almost 1 million. Somaliland, 2 million. Tanganyika, 4 million. 6 million Uganda. How do I... Is it because just of the population, or is it gold mines again? No, it's not gold mines. Oh, they just have a lot of plantations. A lot of plantations over here. Yeah, it's very true. Portugal is like the only nation that's actually playing the purely colonial game, which is not really how it was. Like the Netherlands are pretty much out of the game because they lost their. No, Dutch Indies are actually Dutch now. Was it changed in the save? I thought they were German for a bit, but maybe it was changed in the save. Sorry, I watched. How was it? Captain Uganda or something else? I watched it a long time ago. Okay. Where was I? Yeah, the loss was pretty much checked. The market was pretty much checked. Their military is probably tiny. Yeah, it absolutely is. Okay. Oh, their industrial tech is not like super ahead of time. It's, I'd say, not much better than Japan. They have like 2 more techs, so it's not great when it comes to production. Military, it's also 2 more techs better than Japan, so not ideal. Yeah, and a few more. They're ahead of Japan, but not like significantly so. Especially not as much as I would expect from their literacy. So this is a bit surprising, to be honest. They're going for civilizing mission, which is giving them more colonial affairs. Is there a lot of... Yeah, I guess they have a lot of more colonization to do actually in the Central Africa over here. So that's fair. Then going for human rights. Yeah, I bet you this colonizing mission is having a lot to do with human rights, and then investment banks, which gives companies, which is always good. Going for gold mines, of course, and then just plantations. I think it's fair. So they have this colonial empire. Yeah, they do not have more a lot of universities, but if I'm reading this correctly, it's not like they... Oh yeah, it's okay. Never mind. I'm reading it wrong. But so they could build like, depending on the level, like 50 more universities and still get more. But you know, it's still they get full technology from literacy, and that's actually like worth more than what they're choosing to tech. Wonder how their money situation. Their money situation is actually kind of rough. Even if they increased taxes to the max and reduced wages, they're still not going to be positive. They do not have much debt, so it's not that much of an issue. But they cannot really afford to get more construction. Yeah, they are trying to build more railways and more administration. Maybe they want to get more institutions. Or maybe preparing for the colonial affairs at least. No, but actually their institutions are super cheap. Maybe they want to incorporate some states. That could be it. Yeah, the Portugal and French colors are silly how similar they are to each other. It's really stupid, honestly, but okay, whatever. Yes, not. I would think even without that many universities, just the literacy would carry them a bit more. But maybe it increased relatively recently. It's hard to tell. They not promote Portugal strength. Let's say the vast. All the people that have power in Portugal are accepted, so that's fine. And let's ignore everyone who is not accepted. Serbians. Swedes, of course, Swedes are everywhere. It's a surprising mix, but that's what you get when you're in the British market. You just get population everywhere. They still have a good amount of peasants. So, like, they have a lot of colonies, and I wonder what they could possibly do with this. Their GDP is right behind Japan, technically speaking. They do have a lot of peasants, and they will be gaining more pops just from colonization. Like, in theory, if no one stops them, they could get a huge population from this area. Yeah, steel frame is expensive, but it's also, I think, the most efficient way of getting construction points. It's not like the British market gets him super cheap glass or even steel. Steel is at like 0, which is not... Yeah, it's not cheap at this point of the game. If you want to have a ton of construction, then it's not ideal. Yeah, so Portugal... Oh, sorry about that. That was a... Oof. Portugal is still very interesting, but they're still not really getting to... like, using this colonial potential to anything. So yeah, they're getting a B. Let's keep rolling, and... Yeah, I was taking it a bit slow because I actually forgot a lot about this game, but I should be getting a bit faster now with those nations. Ottomans, just checking them because I wanted to check some of the AIs. Ottomans would probably not be taking a long time. They have GDP half of Portugal and Japan, like a bit more, but still. They have at least a positive budget. They could actually have a very positive budget, but they have 80 construction. Not that much to speak of when it comes to industry. And yeah, they're still finishing H2 techs in, I think, all categories. Yep. They are super behind, super cursed. And they have a legitimate government. Yeah, agrarianism, land-based taxes, serfdom, legacy slavery. Yeah. It's you know what? I think it deserves it. Suleiman Osmanoglu, of course. His pious, arrogant, and expensive tastes. He's a pacifist though, so yeah, that's not really an Osmanoglu thing usually. Okay, let's keep going. Where's the menu? Keep rolling. Spain, I think, right. Just checking them. I think Spain is probably the best AI nation to have someone hop on. Okay, the GDP is about Ottomans, which is not great. Literacy is also not that great for Europe at this point, but it's not terrible. Population is alright, there's no huge issues with radicals or anything, so that's fine. They have decent strength of industrialists, intelligentsia, not that strong landowners, very strong church, of all things. That's probably doable to do something with this. State religion, that's going to be annoying. Yeah, religious schools, charity hospital, legacy slavery as well. That's actually, landowners are not that strong, so that's not that important. Yeah, those are actually not that up to snuff. There's a lot of work to be done here. And national supremacy might be even hurting them a bit. Actually not that bad. Most of those pops wouldn't be accepted anyways. It's not too bad. They do have max... Oh, wait. Okay. They're spending max money on government wages. Yeah, so they can get a decent positive income. That's fine. They have over 200 construction points. They are slowly switching to a steel frame. If they switched fully, they could have 260, which is about what Portugal has, I think. And Portugal has like twice the GDP or close, so that's not too bad. Yeah, so they could get even more weight consumption taxes. Oh my god! Yeah, they have taxes on almost. Most of those are luxury goods. It's actually not too bad. That's pretty fine, I'd say. Let's look at tech. Okay, so the way, like on the level somewhere between Portugal and Japan, so not too bad, honestly. Not ahead by any means, but also not too bad. Yeah, they have 10 standard of living. Alright companies for an AI, of course low productivity, but at least they get to build mines for cheap, so that's good. Yeah, I'd say it's for an AI nation, the entire game, I'd say Spain is best what you could possibly hope for. They still have Morocco and Philippines. How much average spends or taxes? Let's see. 22% at least. But yeah, the consumption taxes are focused on the upper strata, so that's fine. I think something was wrong, like we weren't playing. The access was much higher than we would expect. I think because we changed the patches at some point. It was kind of weird how that was working. But yeah, definitely the taxes are focused on the consumption taxes, at least, are focused on the higher strata, so that's probably fine. Yeah, honestly, Spain doing not too bad. They are in their own market, I think. Yeah. Let's take a quick look. Yeah, expensive basic goods. So situation a bit similar to Japan, but it'd be easier for them to join like British or French or even Italian market or Austrian market. They're not really focusing on. Yeah, they're way overproducing hardwood. AA always does that for no reason. Yeah, it's honestly Spain for an AA nation, it's not too bad. Honestly, Spain for being an AI nation gets a B. Like, of course, it's not. Honestly, it's on the level of Portugal. It has way lower GDP, but it has decent production, decent tech. Honestly, it's a solid B for an AI. I would never think it would be that good. Let's go on rolling. And it's Italy, yes. Yeah, 180 is. I mean, they are next to the strongest land nations in the game, so that's not as impressive. But compared to the rest of the world, it's yeah. Outside of Europe, they would be top dog probably. Yeah. So in Europe, they're not that strong, but that's because all nations in Europe are super strong when it comes to land. Italy is having another revolution, and this one is not going to be firing anytime soon, so that's fine. They have some, yeah, that's probably remainders from the Russian Civil War when it comes to trade routes. They are losing their great power status. Let's see if they can, yeah, they should be able to easily fix that. Yep, no problem. It will cost them. Oof, yeah, that's... that income is not looking that great if they want to stay great power. Probably they should be building more... they're building more government administration. Not seeing any military anyway. Yeah, they already have a pretty high credit. They are great power, so at least their interest rate is not going to be that big. 8%. It's not as low as some other great powers. Like Great Britain easily has like 2%, I think. Yeah, it's not looking ideal, honestly. Oh, the fleet lost a lot of manpower. Alright. Yeah, that once you get prestige high enough and you can lower the wages. Yeah, it's gonna be fine. Still a bit annoying to have to pay back this credit, but not an big issue, as long as you can fix the prestige. 300 construction, that's not that much more than Spain or Portugal, as I would think, despite having... Oh, you're still on iron frame, yeah. Still, it might be a bit expensive to switch to steel, at least in the short term. Maybe by the end of the session it will be possible, or at least slowly. Yeah, if Italy switched, they would have 600, but that's not gonna be easy. a lot more glass, obviously, a lot more steel, a lot more coal. I think, yeah, I screwed something because I switched the... Wait, the war is still going on? Okay. Still needs more engines from Austria. It ends after one tick, okay. I don't want to play it because then AI does all AI things, so it has to stay like this. There's no like war goals, so I'm not surprised it's gonna end. Oh, you switched it so they both accept peace. Yeah, makes sense. Other than that, the basic goods for the pops are pretty cheap. Tools are very cheap. Iron, yeah, that's what I was talking about. That's probably partially because I switched the construction method, but still. Probably this session for Italy is going to be switching into steel production, and let's see how they will be able to do this if they manage to get a... Oh, they actually... no, wait, per capita is the decent one. They could get a lot more money from proportional taxation. For some reason I thought per capita is land-based, but yeah. The per capita is alright, but they could get a lot more. Ottoman's up, okay. Remember, you have the option to nominate nations for voting at the end of the tier list. Let's see if I will find someone else on the Ottoman tier. Parliamentary Republic, universal suffrage, racial segregation. I think pretty much everyone is accepted. Well, everyone outside of colonies, at least. Is this... they are incorporating Tunisia, so maybe they will think about accepting them, though they would probably need like for multiculturalism, because that requires at least one common trait, and I'm pretty sure those guys are Arab speaking and Middle Eastern, yeah, so they're not going to be accepted even if they get to the next citizenship law. And also state religion, right? That's also an issue. Interventionism, mercantilism. Yeah, probably. I think the laissez-faire is just so good for building up as a great power, and you get less loans too. And it would be fairly easy for them to switch, so that's actually not that big of a problem. Potentially, also maybe changing the laws for tax, and religious schools are still here. I think they usually the way I change into public schools is use the church to support the intelligentsia, but if there's already religious schools, that's much more difficult, so that might not be that easy. Intelligentsia has decent support, so maybe. Right of assembly, that's really nice because a lot of nations have censorship, and that's minus 10% technology spread. Like protected speech, even though you cannot ban movements, like what you call them, agitators, but plus what's 25%, I think, to technology, that's, or 20%, 25%, that's super good. Gotta have that. Poor laws, so the first nation that has any welfare. So far, slavery banned, legal guardianship. There's really not much changing in most of nations, but so far Italy is by far the most advanced, and also they're the parliamentary republic. I think Germany is also a parliamentary republic, so they're not the only ones in the world. But technology, I guess everyone is more behind tech than I thought, because Italy, when it comes to society, production, military, they're also like a few techs. They have more military than the previous nations, but they're not that deep into the H3. So maybe I was just confused where the game is at. They have a decent literacy, and they have almost full universities too. But they're like maybe even behind Portugal a tech or two. Maybe Portugal is more ahead than I thought. Yeah, not being able to exile is annoying, but then again, you can just sometimes just tank those radicals. I guess it depends on how much you're behind and so on, how much you're doing on tech. I will see if I will be able even to pass it, but because I'm not sure if I have enough support. They don't have that many peasants at this point. Only like 700,000. They will be getting a bit more pops here and there. That's not really that much population in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, that's true. It makes easier to get better laws because you do not get annoying movements, and you can get good movements instead. But plus 25% tech, man, that's good. And it's plus 25% to the spreading, which is the good one, the one you want to have increase. It's so good. They have textile mills, and they have a lot of them, and they're building more. A lot of players have this company because it's just really good, just basic good stuff. Honestly, I think with the current state of Italy, they have tech on par with the rest of the previous nations so far. Even like behind Portugal, I think, maybe a tech or two. They are in the middle of switching to construction, and they have some hopefully shortly resolved issues with money. I think they are in the B tier despite being a great power, at least at this very current moment. Maybe they will be able to fix it pretty quickly, but it's not ideal at this moment. How far? Yeah, they are fair amount ahead of Mexico and Japan and Portugal, but I could see potentially Italy getting overtaken by maybe Japan. Possibly. I'm not sure how that's possible. I would think that Italy could get better trade just because of the they need many fewer convoys than Japan. It's just the distance. So I think they could get more goods in, but let's see. That's going to be interesting. I think we might see some new great powers and possibly Italy losing the great power slot. Or maybe we could get like 8 great powers. Technically speaking, it's possible. It depends if because Great Britain is in the first slot when it comes to prestige, and they are ahead by a mile, by like over 30% of the points, but they get a lot of their points from the gross domestic production of subjects. That's 500. They also get a lot of them just by themselves, but they will lose a lot once East India stops being their subject, which potentially could make it easier for other nations to become great powers. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting. Like this side of the great power list is going to be interesting this session, definitely. Keep rolling. Is it going to be? It's going to be Sweden, the nation of immigrants, apparently. Let's just take a quick look. I think they're better than, like, obviously Turkey, but I don't think they're that good. Yeah, the population is tiny. The literacy for such a tiny nation is not that great. At least they have decent income. Yeah, they could increase it a fair amount as well. Their product construction is not that great. They do have steel. They're building naval bases. Technology. Their technology is pretty good. Yeah, they might have the most techs from the nations we've seen so far this tier list. But that's pretty much the only thing going for them, I think. Yeah, oligarchy, that's not ideal. Appointed bureaucrats, that's not ideal. National Guard, I mean, maybe. 33 additional battalions. Well, it's only on, I think it's institution only level 1. Oh, level 2. Yeah, the good thing about a National Guard is you get more army. Potentially, you could, if you have high population, you could get a lot of battalions just from 1% of conscription rate, but that's private schools, charity hospitals, that's not ideal combination. Poor laws, property to women, censorship, laissez-faire, free trade, per capita tax. The laws are not ideal. They're not terrible, but there's a few things that need a bit more work. Other production of anything. Can we see? Yeah, we can still see the glorious Swedish population graph. They have still not recovered from the time the Americans came. They actually are halfway to recovering from this. How many years has it been gone? Like in game? Maybe it wasn't that far long actually. No, it was like 30 years ago, or close to, and they still haven't recovered. I think they are in the British market. Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if they are actually. No, they are actually gaining a fair amount of population from migration, and even so, they are actually. Oh, Norway is suffering, man. Norway population is actually going down in the British market. Wait, are there actually places where the Swedes are dominating when it comes to culture? They are. Utah is the Swedish great sacred land in the central United States. Oh my god, it's actually true. And they have a plurality by quite a mile. They have almost majority, almost 50% of pops in Utah in Mexico are Swedish. Oh my god, that's hilarious. Yeah, Sweden is not that good. Like, if you're going to be playing a tiny nation, I think it needs to be a bit more better managed. Spain gets away a bit more, I think, with AI because it's decent sized, so it's a bit easier for AI. With tiny nations, you have to do a bit more micro, and probably AI wasn't doing that. It's not terrible, so like it's probably the second best nation to play for a player jumping on, but I wouldn't recommend it as much as Spain. So C tier it is. And let's keep going, keep going, keep going. And we get a quick look at China. China may be a decent AI nation, actually. Let's see. It's hard to evaluate China because it works kind of differently than most other nations. Well, they certainly have enough cash. But I think the most important thing is their laws. State religion, appointed bureaucrats, peasant levies, no health system, no school, serfdom, land-based taxation, agrarianism. So it's not traditionalism. They probably start with traditionalism, I'd guess. And poor laws. Out of everything that could be changed, they have poor laws. Yeah, they have 150 construction, which is not great. And I mean, they could just build more. They have enough money. With how much money they have, I have no clue where they... What? They have a lot of consumption taxes, but that's also on luxuries, so that's not too bad. They could also remove those because they're making enough anyways. AI is paying them... I guess with China, appointed bureaucrats are decent for the time being, but like long term, that's... they have enough money anyway, so it's not like it matters that much. Yeah, they are behind in tech, but that's what you'd expect. That technology spread, oof. 20% literacy, yeah, oof. Yeah, they are behind by quite much. It would be tough to get back. It seems like the AI is not really handling playing China that well. Yeah, and those The market is also not, even wood, out of all things, is actually pretty high priced. Iron, tools, everything. Only hardwood, because of course AI has to overproduce it to the ground. Yeah, I mean, I guess China is still playable because it's just so huge, but it's not great. I don't think I would want to play as China at this point. It's like you get to play as like Japan 2 sessions ago, but we have only so far in the game left, so you might get into a decent position. What's their military like? That's a good question. Well, it's huge, but it's... Wait, what? It's actually half of it is skirmish infantry. In some places more than half. They have too many special units. Good job, AI. Yeah, they have decent amount of skirmish infantry. It's not going to be that easy, but I'm not sure how well their economy can support them. Yeah, they have huge numbers, and especially with naval invasion, that's gonna be tough. Actually, out of curiosity, let's check Korea. Just a quick look. Pretty bad. Oh no, never mind. It's like it's not being played at all. It's not going to be fun. Yeah, it's too late in the game, I think, for Korea. Never mind. I guess China goes into a D tier. It's not quite Ottoman because like they have plenty of money, plenty of army, but playing them would be a nightmare. And it's the AI nations are about, are they viable for a player to jump on them in this tier list at least? And I don't think like Victory and Victory. So the next nation is going to be the first nation nominated for the Victory and Victory Award, which means whatever you think it means. So you're free to nominate whoever you want. And the nation nominated for a victory is going to be Belgium. And also we get to talk about Belgium now. Let's add them here. Is it 70%? I thought the majority was actually skirmish. Like in one army, 50% were regulars, and they did have too many special units. But maybe AI would fix it, maybe during an actual war. Another revolution ongoing. It's not going to fire anytime soon. They are trying. They might not be able to enact health insurance, and I think, at least usually when I played, the first event, or one of the first events that happens with public healthcare, you can pay a bunch of money to get like plus 20% success rate. So I think it should be fairly possible for Belgium to fire this one. They have some issues with their colonies for some reason. They are all isolated. Is it? It could be because of the war in the German market. Because technically speaking, Germany is at war with Great Britain, and maybe something about that. Okay, the income is a bit negative. It shouldn't affect their... oh, their GDP had a huge jump just very recently. But I think Belgium has hit their limit last session mostly. So let's see how much more they can actually play with what they have currently. They do not have laissez-faire, but I think in their case they just don't have that many more buildings to build, so it's not necessarily bad. They have right of assembly, property to women. They would probably want to get better feminism laws just to get more workforce. Yeah, all the highest institutions they could possibly get, obviously. A really nice legitimacy in the government. That's nice for the loyalists, basically. And of course, you can get stuff through faster. That's also pretty nice. No, never mind. Actually, they're this might have been one of those prestige memes, which is why they have such low. Yeah, they can be making a ton of money. That's not a problem for them, really. They have not that much construction, but as I said, they probably don't have that many buildings to be built. Like, they actually still have. That's probably in the colonies. Betcha those are in the colonies. Let's look at those. No, they actually have 500,000 peasants in Flanders. How is that possible? Is it just them? But even then, if it was immigrants, there wouldn't be that many at the. Like, Wallonia seems to have a possible amount of peasants for just immigration, but 500,000 people and. Alright. Flanders has 15 million GDP, which is like half of the entire Ottoman Empire. More than half, I think. Yeah, just to Flanders. And of course, Belgium has more than the Ottoman Empire. That's not really surprising. They are producing a ton of stuff. Are they still in the top when it comes to tools? Yeah, they are number 8, which is comparable to India and France, better than Italy. This was one of their focuses. I think they're focusing a bit less on steel nowadays. No, they're still in the top 10, so not too bad. And I think those were their main, maybe also the explosives. Yeah, also up there in the explosives, almost the same as United States. Yeah, they're still producing a lot of stuff, gotta say. Number 10 in cloves. I'm not sure where they got those peasants from, but I guess that means they still have some space to expand their industry. Maybe they just added recently better, how do you say it, better production methods for less manpower. I mean, 500,000 people at this point of the game is not that much, but it's definitely shows that they still have some more potential. They have a few colonies here and there, or maybe they are still so tiny. And South Cameroon is 1 million people. It's, yeah, all of those are cut off. Actually, I could. If I click here, I'm not going. How do I see this state? I can just look at their population. 500,000, 8K, it doesn't really matter. So they have like 2 million in total in their colonies. It's something, I guess. Right above the X. Oh yeah, okay. I guess there's still possible expansion in this area of Africa, so we'll see how it goes. Yeah, they're still sorry. Still feels like Belgium is kind of getting to the limit of what is actually possible with their current situation. Like they do not have colonial empire like Portugal that gives them possibility of big expansion. Portugal has actually a fair amount bigger GDP, I think, at this point. They have decent tech. They are like halfway done through age 3. Pretty much, which I would guess that they are no, they only have 56% literacy. That's actually less than I would expect. Did they No, they didn't incorporate their states. At least not the biggest one. That's actually less than I would expect, to be honest. Oh, it's literacy 56 in their capital. Yeah, that's actually way less than I would think. Yeah, they can get more colonies, but I don't see that as much potential as Portugal. Portugal has huge access. They here Belgium might be able to go for like their historical area, I guess, more or less. But other than that, they don't have as much access. Let's take a quick look at their laws. Universal suffrage, control exclusion, elected bureaucrats. Yeah, they're pretty much done pretty soon. Maybe they could get proportional taxation, but honestly, I don't think it really would change that much. They could attack Portugal for their colonies, that's true. Actually, which Belgium has 5, but yeah, they could build up. Though that's also another thing that helps with fighting colonies, give you manpower just for armies, so that could be something. I think Belgium, despite being nominated to be the Victorian victor, is going into the tier C. I still think they are surprising me with they have like more space to expand their industry than I would think, but it still feels like they're like scraping the barrel basically. There's not much more they can do in this game. Yeah, so they would probably try to go for something with colonies, I think. It's probably their best bet, but we'll see how it goes. Something happened, the roulette was not showing, it's here. It means whatever you want to mean. That's why you can nominate whoever you want. It's Egypt, just barely. Existing is a victory for Belgium. Yeah, that's true. Then you can just use your points. It's very cheap to make the nominee, but save points because you can buy additional votes. Egypt has a huge gold reserve. That's pretty good. I think they're going to be switching into steel frame, which is probably going to be costing them a fair amount. I did save the add nominee, right? Thingy. Yeah, you can nominate people. I think they get a fair amount of prestige from the canal. Yeah, 89 prestige. It's actually not that much. They have 3 renowned playwrights, which is pretty nice. And I guess decent army, decent navy. And it just kind of ends up being pretty high. Yeah, the navy is huge for prestige too. Okay, USA go into the Victoria Victory nominees. So it's going to be a tough vote. I don't think they're gonna win versus Belgium, but you can try, Joacho. We'll see. Literacy is pretty good for Egypt. Let's see their laws. Still monarchy, but census suffrage, freedom of conscience, appointed bureaucrats. Not ideal, but not too bad either. Private health insurance, that's interesting. Public schools, which is probably the most important. Health insurance is nice, but it's like schools are very important. Homesteading, that's nice. Interventionism, so it's at least not the traditionalism. They have restricted child labor, which is a first currently, and right of assembly as well. They did switch to from closed borders finally. And here comes Russia as well to be but nominate for what? There are 3 awards. I assume you're not nominating yourself for the sick man of our Europe, Mati, but I guess I should ask just for clarification. And they have maxed out education, and that's probably the most important for them. They are not boosting their health system. It's not like a lot of people would actually benefit from the... though they are 10 standard of living, so it's not too bad. They almost have a legitimate government, which would be very nice for their loyalists, but it's actually still pretty nice. Okay, so Victorian victory, let's go. If I can find Russia. Still, I think Belgium is gonna win, but never mind. Okay, so the laws are alright. The GDP is also, they are a bit further behind than the other, just outside of the top 10, but it is not that far. Yeah, they're just behind Belgium, and they have, I assume, way more potential for growth. Yeah, they have 5 million peasants all over the place. And they will be gaining a lot of provinces. Yeah, all of Iraq. It's if they're gonna focus on farms and plantations, that's some really good land. I think it also has, yeah, it has. No, the rivers are not ideal because there are some rivers like over here. Danube gives market access, which is pretty nice, but it also has a bonus to agriculture and plantations. 20% is nothing to scoff at, and I mean infrastructure is infrastructure. So it's something. I mean, just the GDP from those provinces is gonna push them up quite a bit. Yeah, they can be making even more money. They don't really need prestige as of right. No, they actually need a bit of prestige for to remain a major power. But still, they could actually. They could pretty much afford to steal to steel frame right now. They would get 300 construction, which is respectable. They are in their own market. They have some lead problems, but this looks like a temporary thing. They don't have chairs. No one in Egypt is sitting. And I did the thing again where I switched to construction, and now everything shows like the steel and glass is lacking. Though honestly, as long as they can at least have enough to continue producing at 100%, I guess it's fine. They will be able to fix this just building stuff with construction increased to this much. Paper should probably be fixed as soon as possible because that's an annoying expensive thing. Iron is not ideal price. Yeah, it's still another market that's not fully ready when it comes to basic resources, but apparently their main thing is going to be production of stuff like grain and other things from plantations, and yeah, they are producing a lot of grain, gotta say that. Number 3 and first one outside of China and India, which are the like pretty easy nations to have huge production of grain, so they will be probably pretty high on that. Other than that, I don't think, maybe fertilizer they are number 8, which is in the top 10. Other than that, probably stuff like sugar, yeah, there's somewhere up there. Let's quickly check their technology. They did finish H2 in production. They have still not finished H2 in military. And are just finishing H2 in... Oh, actually they're quite far. Yeah, that's not ideal. They are a bit behind. Which is obviously they start in the worst position out of most nations we've seen so far, except maybe... well, if you consider Ottoman Empire being a bad start, then... yeah. The tech is not that great. Their companies are focused on... Oh yeah, they have Suez Canal. Oh, the Suez Canal, actually 50k for Egypt is pretty huge. That's most of their positive balance at this point. I guess it didn't. Yeah, it didn't really change because of the steel construction, but I think they will be able to afford it. They might be able to switch faster than some other nations, and once they're doing that, then yeah, they're another contender to get into the top 8, possibly getting a great power. It's going to be interesting. Which one of those? I think Japan has the biggest potential to get into the top 8. Does Egypt going to B or A? I think they're still going to B, most likely. Though they did start like in one of the worst positions because they're unrecognized, and they actually managed to. Well, Japan does start unrecognized, but it's they are in the better spot than Egypt, who has to survive versus Ottomans and also everyone else around them. And they have actually, you know what? Egypt goes into number A. I forgot. They're gaining all this land. They're going to be a huge contender. They might be the most likely one to get great power this session. Because that's going to be huge. Okay, let's keep going. Brazil. Let's see Brazil. Brazil is a bit behind other nations. Yeah, they're occupying Trevisan as well. This might be an issue in the upcoming wars, though it shouldn't be a war goal for anyone. So, because like stuff like this happened to me in single player, and you cannot actually occupy it. Which, if it's a war goal, it's a problem. They have a bit lower GDP than most nations in the like the contenders to the great power. But let's start with their laws. Wealth voting, which is kind of a middle point between autocracy and suffrage, but it's actually getting there. National Guard, which is interesting considering their armies in America are pretty small. And their population is actually pretty small as well. So that additional conscription would mean they would probably win versus their neighbors if they don't have the same institution, but Mexico also has the National Guard. That's the fair. Per capita taxation, they could get a bit more, but there's a huge opposition to proportional taxation. Local police force still. Charity hospitals, but at least public schools. Censorship. Poor laws, which seems to be, if anyone gives any welfare, anything good to their population, it's only the poor laws. Yeah, National Guard I think is crazy good for military, but you need to have at least a decent population for it to be worth it at all. They do have max education, they can. Law enforcement, they actually running it high, which means their landowners get a decent bonus to their clout, and they're still fairly influential, almost 18% at this point of the game, though industrialists are just much more powerful. They are in the American... oh, they actually have a pretty significant issue with money. Even if they raised everything, they're not getting positive income. Did they switch to... no, they're still on iron frame. Though they do have a lot of construction sectors. Like, even just... maybe that was their plan, they're just building up and getting rubber plantations. Yeah, they can lower the deficit a bit, but still, they have just a lot of construction for their size. Like, it might be they have... I'm pretty sure they have more than Italy at least. Yeah. So they are building a ton of stuff. Maybe they're hoping for, like, rubber is going to be what saves them. They can keep it going in theory for the time being. They have probably pretty high interest, though 12% is not that bad. They have a laissez-faire, so that's helping them a bit. I mean, maybe it's gonna be worth it. They're building a lot of textile mills, which I'm not sure is going to be the way to solve their issue with... they are pretty productive. Yeah, they're not nowhere close to being the actually important producer of those, right? I didn't miss anything. Maybe it's gonna pay off for them, but I'm not entirely sure. They're still producing clippers, maybe because of their port tech. Other than that, not producing. They actually produce a fair amount of steel, I think. Not in the top 10 though. Let's see the American market. Not in the fine arts. They are already using rubber for tools, but they have still nowhere near enough. This is going to be the question: who gets enough rubber? Probably no one in this game. Yeah, that clothes are pretty expensive, but I don't think that's going to be that worth it in the long term. Glass is expensive because of the new construction methods. Coal is expensive in the American market. That's surprising. Iron, yeah, a lot of stuff is expensive in the American market. Other than tools, I guess. And at least oil. But it's not really used for anything just now. Their tech is actually pretty decent in production. They are a bit behind in military, but I guess in South America it doesn't really matter that much. And a bit behind in society, but them focusing on production, and they're really keeping up in this, and I guess this is the most important part for them. They are planning to go into steel frame this session. They have gold company. At least when they're building the textile mill, they have a company for it. You actually cannot rise in. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, there's so many production methods at this point. It might be that you don't have enough. Yeah, I hate when it shows up that there's a new production method and it's showing you an old one. That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, they could increase production of iron by quite a bit, and coal as well. I guess maybe they just don't have the explosives. Yeah, not really. And also, as you said, maybe a bit of society is dependent on those iron prices. Brazil is still looking like they're building up. At least they've solved a few of their issues with their market once they've done the American one, so they at least have the goods. Yeah, I know, but it's just annoying, and it's keeping stuff because of the observer view. And I don't want to mess with it too much because who knows how it affects the UI in other things without unpausing. Yeah, I feel like Brazil is still in their building up phase. Even more so than... they do have a lot of production though. Well, I'm wondering how much their money they're gonna make just off the rubber. They probably can make a ton of those plantations, right? Yeah. A ton of those plantations, man. Wow. This might be the key for them to make the money. Yeah, it's like the Brazil is going hard on the construction. They are like going into debt pretty hard because of it, and we'll see if it pays up. Yeah, they have super much rubber, and they actually can start extracting it right now. It might take a while before African rubber is available. Yeah, but people are going to be switching into rubber tools pretty soon all over the place, and like I have no access to rubber. Germany probably has no access to rubber. Even Russia doesn't have any access to rubber. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of people needing a lot of rubber. I think Brazil goes into C, all things considered. They are a bit behind on I like they're focusing on production, but they are still behind in other technology trees. I will buy your rubber, but I don't think I have the tech just now. Also, trade always works kinda wonky. It's not as ideal. And the next nation is going to be the ultimate underdog. Nominee for the ultimate underdog. And also is going to be a nominee for the stickman of /R Europe. Okay. Both are going to be Denmark. Okay, let's check out Denmark. That's going to be a quick one. Actually, there's going to be a problem. I have only one flag for Denmark. I don't think I can download this. Can I? But I'm gonna edit this one. This is a double award. Okay, let's check out Denmark. Probably similar situation as Belgium. They have very high literacy, #1. Very high standard of living, #1. Gotta say, that's pretty impressive. Their colonies are isolated, but that's probably because of the war with Germany. That's a tiny, sweet, tiny colony. Still 300k, that's actually quite a bit. Yeah, they're doing absolutely fine when it comes to budget. I'm guessing the wages were because of the prestige memes with Belgium. I don't remember if they were still doing that last session, but probably. They have no peasants. They have 6 peasants, out of which 2 are working, so that's not that many. Not that much space to grow. Yeah, I guess in their colonies they can do a bit, but that's still not going to be that much. Construction is tiny, but of course there's no real reason to invest in construction when you don't have any buildings to build. Same with laissez-faire. Monarchy, landed voting still. Elected bureaucrats, National Guard. Well, this conscription is really gonna serve them. How much? It's still 28 battalions. That's actually not too bad. Property to women. With feminism, they might get a bit more workforce. And they have restricted child labor, so that's one more education institution. Yeah, which there's some things that could be adjusted in the laws, but it's pretty much mostly done. I mean, with how tiny their population is, it would be very difficult for them to manage the goods. Just not enough people to work for everything, and also like just I'm not sure how much mines they can get on their. Yeah, there's nothing really, no iron, no coal. Yeah, I guess if they were in the American market, you would give them an A. They are #1 in standard of living, so this counts for something. The German market seems to be similar to the American market, also like everyone is in transition into the glass and steel production. Though steel is pretty cheap. Hardwood, hard, overproduced. I would expect they are super ahead of techs. Yeah, they are actually halfway done with H3 production, halfway done with military, and halfway done with society as well. Yeah, they're definitely doing pretty well. Definitely they don't need rubber. They probably have the tech to... no, they actually don't. And there's no rubber in the German market right now. Yeah, Denmark is just as Belgium pretty much done with industrialization, and they have even less space to gain anything when it comes to colonies. They have, I guess, their colonies in Iceland and Denmark, but they have combined less than 100k. But because Denmark has the highest literacy and the highest standards of living, I guess they go into B. Just so you know, they won over Belgium. Congrats. Let's keep rolling. I need to speed up because it's taking a while. It's a lot of nations to talk about. And I also needed to relearn the game halfway through. And it's France. Yeah, huge gap. We actually haven't been talking about great powers that much, but they have very powerful ruler fork somehow. What? How is that possible? He is radical, so that's pretty nice for some reforms. Yeah, I guess they even have commercialized agriculture, and still the ruler folk are what? That's kind of weird. Private school, private health insurance. They have pretty high standard of living. Professional army, total separation, presidential republic, laissez-faire, right of assembly, no immigration control as well. That's an interesting set of laws, but pretty much done with most stuff, looks like. Huge GDP, huge construction. Well, of course, that's way more than anyone else, but they're pretty much the first of the great powers, like great powers from the start of the game. Their budget currently is negative, but that's no issue. Yeah, radical is pretty nice. Actually, what? Something was weird going on with the... Wait, they gain more money with medium military wages than... What? I think something is banging out. What? Okay, never mind. Well, they are actually having a bit of an issue with making money, and they are halfway of their credit done. They pay tiny interest rates, so it's not too much of an issue, but something to pay attention to in case they get into a big war at some point or something like that. They are a leading producer in a ton of stuff. Yeah, ammunition, artillery, ironclads, fertilizer, explosives, coal, number 3, that's actually not that many like basic goods. Sulfur, I guess. Quick look at tech. Pretty good in production. Really good in military. Probably Germany is only slightly ahead of them. And they're pretty good in society, which is what you would expect with decent literacy, but they don't have maxed out universities, so something to work for. Their market is, yeah, everyone seems to be in the same place. Expensive glass, fairly expensive steel, fairly expensive many basic goods yet again after switching to steel construction. They are building universities, that's true, and a lot of more, oh my god, a lot of mines, and they will get some rubber plantations. Can they get many more? Not that many. Yeah, it's not going to be that significant. It's at least something. They have a huge queue. They're focusing on basic stuff with their companies. Well, France is, I guess, just what I consider at this point an average great power. So let's put them in an A, and we'll see how it compares to the others. And let's keep going. Mexico, okay. We'll check out Mexico. Let's compare Mexico to Brazil and other potential great powers. New great powers showing up. Oh yeah, they were actually one of the most likely contenders because they're at number 10 with their GDP already. They have really nice literacy, which also leads to a pretty decent standard of living. They have good income, gotta say, and much more is available for them. You should be getting way more construction. Like, you're making possibly 100k, and yeah, you have. I guess you'll be switching into steel frame. Still, that's a lot of money just sitting on the table. The laws are state religions still there. Religious schools, charity hospitals. The church is probably pretty stem. It's the strongest party. I mean, like interest group still. Damn. At least the landowners are weaker. Other than that, it's pretty alright. Yeah, with steel frame, Mexico is gonna be also going for that new great power position, and it's hard to say. Mexico, Japan, Italy will have a lot of competition in the coming session. Though, as I said, I think it's going to be easier for everyone, considering Great Britain is going to be slightly weaker in prestige. Production is okay for Mexico. Military is pretty bad, but for America it's fine. Though the ports being that low is kind of annoying, because they do not even have steam ships in their ports. Oof, society in Mexico is, this is what's suffering. Well, you gotta prioritize something. Companies, of course, there's a rubber plantation company, no surprises there. And how much? Yeah, they're preparing to build a lot more rubber plantations eventually. Honestly though, still, considering the surplus and the current production and the potential of rubber plantations for Mexico, I think you still have a ton of peasants, 3 million. I think Mexico goes into number A. Now I'm thinking Mexico, Egypt and Japan maybe are the top 3 contenders for the next great power. It's going to be interesting. And let's keep going. Only like 10 left, oh god. It's all great powers. Germany. Germany, I think, has a fair amount bigger GDP than France. They might be even overtaking Great Britain pretty soon. Yeah, they have some issues considering the current war. They have a healthy income. Are their armies mobilized? Yeah, yes. So that's why a lot of their money is going to... It's going to be hard to say what's... Some things are going to be distorted because of the current things. Still, actually, they can be making a ton of money. They have huge construction. Absolutely massive. Yeah, they're producing a ton of ports, but that's... Why do they have... Oh yeah, damage to raiding, of course. companies focused on engines, ships, fertilizer, I guess. All extractor innovation. Oh, that's actually, yeah, that's pretty good company. And the military. Also railway throughput, that's also nice. Technology, finished production. Hot damn. Oh yeah, they have literacy, full innovation, and even surplus of universities. Military, they're actually not as far ahead as I thought in military. And so, oh my god, they're super ahead in tech. It's interesting, maybe they're, I wonder how much they have tech compared to Great Britain. But they're doing super hot. Their government is varied. They don't have industries. They do not have laissez-faire, which is interesting. Other than that, pretty standard stuff. Protected speech, so they get a lot of tech, so maybe that's part of the reason. S tier for Mexico. Alright. And I think Germany also is going to do S tier. They're, I think, like much more strong than much stronger than France. And they have a huge potential. I'm not sure how many. They still have over 3 million peasants, so there's still some place to grow. Though they do not have any colonies, but they have actually quite a few nations in their market. Including, actually, yeah, including Dutch East Indies, so maybe they will be able to do something with that. Potentially. Yeah, I think Germany quite strongly in S tier, definitely in better position than France, I'd say. Russia is going to be difficult to judge because of their edits with the save, but let's see what we can see. Yeah, there's some weird stuff going on. Addis exporting to the British market. They actually have huge income right now, so money at least is not going to be any problem. Their construction is not too bad, and they haven't switched to steel construction yet. It's probably going to be difficult to judge their market. Yeah, it's hard to say for me how reliable all this data is. So just looking at stuff like the basic things are pretty cheap, though they haven't switched to steel production yet. Yeah, it's not just, you know, fixing stuff, it's how much data is reliable because of the save editing. And also AI switched all the production methods. Yeah, Russia is very difficult to judge at this point. You have private health insurance. Compulsory primary school, that's pretty good. And they can have full education, though AI is lowering it currently. Maybe because of the bureaucracy deficit. Yeah, I mean, Azerbaijan is a place, but Armenia is not even a place at this point. Kars actually has a higher population than Armenia. There are some weird places in current Russia, like in this province, the biggest population are Ashkenazi Jews. Though half of them are not even Jewish. I guess they're Orthodox? Yeah, they are Orthodox. Yeah, there's some interesting stuff going on with migration in Russia. Finland is actually, northern Finland is getting depopulated. I don't see any other interesting regions with population, but it's very hard to judge Russia in this current state because a lot of basic stuff needs to be fixed. I don't even know if those companies are actual companies. I guess the lodging camps for sure, but I'm not sure if the gold mines were planned or not. I guess Russia goes into B, but that's just, you know, just because they have to go somewhere. It's not the exact same color, at least not in my view. Chips Leonet has slightly more orange, I think, slightly darker. Besides, I just, you know, guys, I care so much, I can instantly tell who's typing. Yeah, Joshua, maybe to get that checked out. It's not exactly the same color. Grand Columbia. Check Discord. Something is wrong on your end then. I mean, screen shouldn't matter when you're taking screenshots. But Grand Columbia also has a ton of money, just like Mexico. They are in their own market, I'm pretty sure. And that's coming with some issues. They have... Why are they using so much wood? Maybe some trade route just got deleted or something? That's kind of weird. Like how did they even get into this place? Yeah, they have so few goods that even lacking just a few is causing huge increases in price. Like coal, 300 coal is not that much, but it's causing 56% more increase. They just, they're still in this position that they just need more of everything, basically. They actually fixed their price of iron at least, so that's something. They could decrease their production of hardwood by a lot. It's really not... were they played by AI or something? Maybe AI switched the wood production method. Yeah, if they could remove pretty much... They could make the prices of wood much better if they just change production methods. Oh, okay, yeah. So the Grand Columbia is not being played anymore. Am I right? And he did finish tier 2 production. Oh right, you guys, this part used to be Grand Columbia as well. Did Brazil take anything? Yeah, I think like it still could be good, but AI just loves producing oh, maybe this. Do I know, like I know the geography of South America? But yeah, it's not that this makes a lot of sense that it was played by AI. Military is actually better than other South American nations, so you guys watch out about that. They do not have the institution for... Yeah, they don't have National Guard, so that is setting them back quite a bit in this low intensity warfare. Racist but true. Okay, I guess right. Yeah, they are pretty behind. On society they're actually alright. And military, but production is most important, and their neighbors are focusing, and they have like twice their population, both of them. So yeah, Mexico almost 3 times as much as Gran Colombia. And they do not have any rubber, so nobody cares to support them. Yeah, Gran Colombia, I don't think it would be a fun nation to play in the grand scheme of things for a player to be taken over. I think it goes into a D. Still not as bad as Ottomans in the Ottoman tier, currently ascended to number D. Oh my god. This took way longer than I thought it would. I thought we killed some nations. I guess I took way too long talking about the first few. Netherlands, quick look, I think they probably suck. They have their colonies at least. Yeah, they have issues with money, potentially because of the war, so certainly the convoys are because of the war. Their GDP is tiny even compared to Belgium. Yeah, Flanders has more GDP than the rest, than entire continental Netherlands combined. And they have pretty tiny construction, all things considered. Tech is okay. Military is surprisingly ahead, but that's probably the semi-random selection of AI pushing them forward. No health system, that's pretty bad for such a tiny nation. No home affairs, which probably they should get at least something to get the institution, because it barely costs them anything. Yeah, pretty much the continental Netherlands. Yeah. Gosh, I got it. Pretty much the only thing that's interesting about them is their colonies. They can actually produce a fair amount of rubber compared to like France, for example. It's like 15 in total. That's something. And they're in there's probably some rubber to be found in those provinces. It's just they cannot build them because it's a vassal nation, which is of course annoying. Yeah, I don't see any right now, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna show up, right? Rubber. Still, I'm not sure how reliable is AI to be actually building those, so we'll see about that. I think at least they have a fair amount of peasants, so at least they can grow a little bit. No, actually not that many in Netherlands proper. Who can annex East Indies? I mean, I guess you can technically. But isn't the game like pushing you to have those colonies as separate states? Isn't there going to be like a... We are getting a Netherlands player who's playing... Someone is specifically taking Netherlands? Or is it just to annex? Oof, those companies. Not ideal. Catrol is selecting Netherlands rather than Spain or I guess China or I guess even Sweden. Yeah. Well, at least we'll be able to annex. I wouldn't pick Netherlands out of all the nations available, but sure. Oh, we also have Spain. Okay, that's good. I guess I would put Netherlands into D. I really don't think they're not that good, I think. Like, despite being much poorer than... yeah, I think they're suffered a lot from migration to the rest of Germany, while Belgium was actually sucking up people. How many? They have 7 millions, and Belgium has 8. But that's, I think Netherlands have more colonies. Yeah. Yeah, so it appears that the difference is actually greater than it shows. D for Dutch, yep. Austria, good. I actually get to see what I'm playing as. I honestly don't remember most of my nation, other than I'm producing engines. I am losing a ton of money, so that's a bad start. Well, I can raise stuff, and that's the thing that because I have low wages, that means I have enough prestige, so that's another good news. I think I switched into steel at this point, yeah. I have actually similar construction to Germany. Yeah, it's not that far off. And France has significantly less. Russia probably doesn't, it's like not worth comparing because it's going to be changing, but okay, I actually had more construction than... Just so I keep switching one more time, let's see what Great Britain has. Also about 1,000, okay. Maybe also India. India actually has quite a bit less, but they're probably not... Yeah, they're getting steel pretty soon, and I think they will be able to afford it. Just in a big chunk. And US? Oof. Actually not too bad, 500. I think you get, like, since one construction sector is 10 production, right? You get to produce them quite fast. Let's see. The laws, still a monarchy, and the annoying thing about monarchy in Austria is they're landowners, always, for some reason. Sure, market liberals are nice, but I cannot get any legitimacy in my governments. That's very annoying. Since the suffrage, racial segregation, I might be going for multiculturalism just for the Turks, but we'll see about that. Elected bureaucrats, which is very nice. National Guard, very nice in for nations with good populations. Though what I've noticed in single-player games is at some point you get so much conscription that you cannot even afford to recruit all of them. So we'll see about that. I still have mercantilism. Maybe I will switch out of it, but honestly it doesn't really matter that much. Per capita taxation. Yeah, definitely should try to switch, but yeah, maybe if I become more socialist with trade unions, for the time being it's not going to work with industrialists as they are. Those institutions are pretty nice. Maybe I should start thinking about getting some colonial exploitations. To get anything. Like the Western Sahara is free, and I could do a humanitarian mission there. There's nothing there, I think, but... Oh, that's interesting. Too bad I'm doing it on stream, but that's actually huge for me, possibly. Yeah, okay. I guess I'm rushing colonialism. Yeah, gotta think about that. I need to switch from censorship, though it's not going to be that easy. Yeah, we'll get people there. But man, sulfur, that's, I think, more sulfur than... Yeah, that's twice the sulfur of Wallachia. And with so few people there, I could actually get this place to be accepted without multiculturalism. That could be something. Child labor, I think I'm going to be getting human rights soon, and I'm going to be trying to get compulsory primary schools in one jump. and probably will be switching out of legal guardianship this session or the next. Let's see how it goes. I am finishing police. I'm not sure why I didn't do that earlier. But that's good, I'm doing this. Money is fine. Building a ton of stuff. I'm not sure why. Paper mills, out of all things. Universities, I guess, are always good. I am capped, but yeah, being over the cap is also pretty nice. And naval bases in as much as I can get them. Yeah, dyes are a huge issue in Austro-Hungarian market. I cannot import more of them, and I'm not producing any myself, though it will be changing pretty soon with the next tech. Wood is also expensive. That's surprising. Maybe the trade got cancelled at some point, so that's something to pay attention to. Grain is kind of expensive. Yeah, I don't think you can sell me dyes. Yeah, there's no one I can import dyes from. So I think I'm already importing from you. It's not alphabetically, I guess. Yeah, I'm already importing from United States. It is going to be getting bigger. Oh, by quite a bit. From level 2 to level 5. Yeah, it's not going to be more sulfur than Italy, but at least it's going to be something. And it's like free. Nobody wants that because it's nothing, but for me it actually has some worth. And fish? Man, it's like prime real estate right here. Yeah, market. Engines. Yeah, still producing a ton of engines and exporting almost half of those. I maybe will try exporting something to the British market because they apparently have way too few engines. Some iron in here as well. Pretty good prices on that. I think I have an old production method on. Oh, I could be getting better tools, but yeah, absolutely no rubber in Austria. I think I'm like top producer for tools. Yeah, top 2. Oh, I'm very close to Great Britain. If I started switching, even with not enough rubber, I could overtake them. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Yeah, I think market is looking fine at some of the, not enough glass, and some of the strange things might be because of the war and cancelling of trade routes. Technology is okay. It's far behind Germany, but compared to non-GPs, it's alright. Yeah, definitely I will need those universities. Yeah, the United States produces a lot of tools. Tools are nice because they are almost always useful, just like engines. Pretty good trade goods. Yeah, I think Austria also solid A, like better economy than France. Not in GDP, I think. Actually, better in GDP as well, just slightly. Better construction and so on, but the tech is kind of lacking, and the lack of colonies is hurting me more because I don't have any ports. So decent A, but not that much stronger than France and weaker than Germany for sure. Okay, last 4. It's not USA. Let's see how is Persia doing. Government, landowners and the church still pretty powerful. Monarchy, autocracy, state religion, it's all tough stuff. Appointed bureaucrats, that's not ideal. National militia, that's interesting choice. But might be pretty decent, I guess. For the area. If like in theory you were to solo Ottomans, might be possible. The power projection is low because that's how it, I guess it calculates it, but I think there is a decent chance. Interventionism, which is better. Land-based taxation, still unchanged unfortunately, and it could be a huge bonus to switch it for Persia, so definitely a priority. Religious school, health system, lacking local. Still a lot of laws to be fixed one way or the other. Yeah, and going for education maxed, which is increasing the power of the church significantly. At least a pretty nice literacy, probably because of the... Yep. That's how I did it in my single player as Persia as well. You can get huge education from decrees. They have like... Is it better than Japan? Yeah, it is better than Japan. Persia for Sigma, okay. Which means that they will be in a vote versus Denmark to be considered the Sigma of Slasher Europe. So there's going to be 2 votes at the moment. You can still outvote him. Production for Persia is pretty good, technology. Military is pretty bad, but that's what you'd expect. And society is also kind of rough because it's halfway done with... it's doing the South American way of focusing on production, which I think is the way to go. And like, it's not like they're gonna be able to challenge India or Russia anyway, and I think they have a decent shot against the Ottoman Empire. Possibly. They are in the British market, which I don't think is ideal, but I think they... yeah, they still have iron frame buildings, so that's actually not too bad. The construction is pretty low, honestly. Oh, the money. Yeah, I guess that the taxes are really hurting the Persian economy right now. I think that's the biggest issue currently. They just don't have enough money to build more stuff. They do have a lot of peasants though, and how is their population compared to... Egypt has twice their population. They're in a kind of rough spot when they are a nation that's closer to like Belgium. But they are also in Asia, which means they're unrecognized and so on. And bad tech. Though with literacy they should be catching up. They could build a few more universities. Companies are focusing on oil. They're actually producing quite a good amount of oil already, and they have a lot of opium plantations, of course. No issues with discrimination, luckily, because they're gonna gain barely any Armenians from Russia. It's gonna be an issue still. So yeah, I guess Persia is fine, but gotta say, in a Persia versus Egypt, I would say Egypt. I would say Egypt every time. Oh, hey Bob. Hey, not Bob. I think China is possibly open if you're interested in that kind of... Oh, so apparently there's no France tomorrow. France is in a pretty good state. They have... they're not definitely the strongest GP, but there's like nothing bad with them. Yeah, I think the Armenians didn't get genocided, they just went somewhere. They just left. Yeah, it's in like 18:30, less than 24 hours from now. The next game is starting. You can watch the VOD. I checked out the France and like most other nations in this stream. I don't remember where France was. France was like half an hour ago, right? Yeah, I think war is more likely with France than without it. Persia is using dynamite, unlike certain Americans. Yeah. I do think Egypt is quite a bit stronger than Persia, unfortunately. As much as it hurts me, I have to say it. Okay. Let's see, it's GB. Pretty sure US is gonna be last again. I'm actually interested in how is GB looking. Apparently they're gonna be having India free. Oh, they're still having issues with their debt, and they're going to be losing 245k of money they get, which is pretty much getting enrolled. They're actually having some issues with money. Like, if they end the Indian relationship, it's gonna be pretty rough. Of course, they're not paying any interest. 1.4%, that's nothing. Yeah, they're not paying any interest, but just the amount that they're losing and how much credit they have left, it's not ideal. Yeah, I guess they will have to remove some. What they're spending it on? They're actually spending a lot of it on military. They're spending most of it on opium. I guess they could just remove the mobilization stuff. Yeah, they have all of it on. Oh no, they're mobilized, of course. Well, never mind. Yeah, never mind. It's gonna be fine once they demobilize, pretty sure. So, no issue. Yep, they have the GDP of Italy in debt. Yeah, they're gonna be fine once the war is over. Never mind. And they are pretty much on level of Germany when it comes to production tech. Similar military tech to other people, GPs. And also similar, it's like a few techs between them and Germany. They're pretty much on par, which is interesting because GP used to be far ahead of everyone, but their literacy kind of dropped, I think. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Germany overtake GP this session. Actually, it seems pretty likely. Quick look at laws. Laissez-faire, of course, were faulting till separation appointed bureaucrats. That's, I don't think, good for Great Britain. Did they start with it? Did they switch into it? That's kind of random. They would really benefit from proportional taxation. Which, yeah, like, but it's the tough thing. If you switch into per capita taxation, then industrialists support it, and then it's tough to switch into proportional because of the industrialists. So often it's like if you can switch directly into proportional, even if you in the short term are not gaining as much money, in long term you're in a much better position. So that's gonna be tough to change. They do have compulsory primary schools, so in theory their education should be much better, and it will be eventually. They would benefit from better bureaucrats. Right of assembly, that's pretty nice. No migration control because everyone is migrating to them anyways. Private health insurance, I think they start with this. Not too bad laws, but the tax problem might be difficult to solve. This, I guess, company made for the war, which is not ideal. Also, I think the paper company is kind of bad in most cases. This one is like the just basic good stuff. I guess this one is decent if they have so many textile mills. Guess I'm not sure how good their situation would be if they fix their finances and war. I guess with almost no interest it should be fine. But considering they have been in the first place pretty handily from the beginning of the game, just because of the start, and they are starting to fall behind, I think they're going to go into A. Not just behind Germany, but they will be losing India as well, which is going to be huge. Huge hit for them. It's probably going to be India. And of course I'm always right. And let's go to India. No, USA. India is making money, unlike some other people in their market, though they are like doing as much as they can to make money, which with high taxes, 100k with their size of economy, it's not that much, honestly. They're going for agrarianism. Oh, I can't talk at this point. It's been almost 3 hours of talking. No schools, no health system. That's kind of bad. Closed borders. Ooh, that sucks. Tenant farmers, per capita taxation. I guess they would benefit a bit from proportional, but probably not percentage-wise as much as some other nation. They have full police, but no school. I guess because they have so much bureaucracy per investment level of institution. Though education is just so good in this game. Yeah, I guess because that means that their population is not going to be leaving to the like other places in their market. That's a good point, actually, and they have way more pops than they would ever need. That's a good point. Yeah, closed borders is actually good for them. Still iron, and they do not have the tech for steel frame, but they're getting there. Oh yeah, I was checking that out, and they will probably be getting like 1,500 or 2,000 construction points by the end of the next session. Production tech is alright for their education. Military is pretty bad. They're just not that great. They should at least, they can at least get the next port, and they should probably prioritize it. Maybe even over the steel frame, because they need the trade convoys for the British market. Yeah, they're okay in. It's not too bad for an Asian nation. It's not too bad. Companies, basic stuff just for construction, I guess. A lot of opium. Who would have thought? How's their military? It's not that huge, but just their mobilization is kind of scary because of how huge their population is. How is it? They're number 2 behind China, and the third one is United States of all places. That's interesting. Then France, and then oh yeah, Russia had didn't like they should have 90 million, but the tooltip didn't update, I think. Yeah, if you look at the graph, it should be 90 million. Yeah. I remember seeing it before. Oh, actually, though, India is going to gain almost 250,000 of money from ending the diplomatic pact, so they will have a ton of money for more construction. I'm very interested to see what's going to happen with India next session after they get released, for many reasons, but oh, that's interesting. That's because of Oman, but yeah, very interested, but I'm not sure what position they are in right now. How they're going to be able to use their freedom. I guess they go into A, but it's also a bit hard for me to judge those huge population nations because they work kind of differently than most other. Okay, and finally the last one. Oh god, so much talking. India is going to be rich, but their education is kind of bad, so I'm actually surprised they managed to keep up with tech like this. And we have a winner. Oh, Alaska is already American. Don't remember seeing that. Didn't it build full gold mines? Once the gold mines are built, it's probably going to be like top. Yeah, already 17 standard of living. It's probably the best place to live in the United States. Yeah, it looks like it is. Wait, do they seriously have Rhode Island as a separate... What? This is serious. Those are so tiny. Like, they really make those the map for Americans. District of Columbia is a separate state. That's horrible. I didn't realize that's how the map worked here. Oh my god, that's bad. Well, I guess if I wanted to take a part of United States, I could take something without too much of border gore. Imagine taking Delaware as a treaty port. Or District of Columbia as a treaty port. That would be quite nice. Still not as good as Alaska, apparently. Okay, let's take a look at the laws. Interventionism. So apparently somebody hates here laissez-faire. Excessive suffrage, racial segregation, who theft fought, public schools, public health insurance, still national militia, but I guess, yeah, in Americas you don't really fight wars, ever. Same issue with taxation as most other people. Legal guardianship in America. Probably still have a lot of peasants, so that's fine. Rights of assembly, very nice. Full institutions, even restricted child labor, so that's good education. Already building power plants. What production methods use energy at this point? I haven't played that much in the late game to remember this off the top of my head. Not anything here. Lodging camps. Yeah, that's nice. Oh yeah, the electric saw or something like that. Yeah, that can be potentially a lot of wood, but also a lot of electricity. That's also boosting your economy. Money is going to be fine. Yeah. Though once you build the construction to 1000, it might not be as fine. Though there's also a lot of peasants, from what I remember. Yeah, 20 million peasants, and it's increasing. Like, United States population is wow. It tripled from the beginning of the game, and pretty much no land was gained. Like, even in those places, it's mostly immigrants. Minus 200 diplomatic pacts. What? Ah, okay, you're paying to... Alright, yeah, Russia. Is it because of Alaska? Oh no, it was because of the war, I think, right? And Mexico, because, you know, Mexico needs everything they can get. Really good tech, gotta say. Getting into age 4 currently. So one of the top nations when it comes to production. Might be even the first one, because you're actually halfway there through a first tech. Military is actually pretty on top of things as well. Like, compare, like Germany has maybe 2 more techs, and society is pretty good. Not as much ahead as in other categories, but very, very good. Yeah, the tech is really nice. Also the military company, I'm not, I guess for tools. Basic, that is a really nice company, just all the basic stuff. And of course the Panama Canal. Though yeah, as you said, for America it might not be that great. I guess if you're trading much. So where do I put the United States? I think with their tech and their potential, I think they go into S. They have huge potential. I think it will be hard to... they will grow faster than Austria or France. And maybe even Great Britain, to be honest. Okay, now that the tier lists are done, let's quickly finish with the votes. And I think the way it works... Okay. Who should receive the Sick Man of /R Europe award? And the options are Denmark, Persia, and Qing in the last minute. Additional votes are going to be for 200 nulls per point. And I will see if I can run a few of those at once. So this one is going to be just 2 minutes, but okay, you guys should be seeing the questionnaire. The last minute jump with Qing, and also Portugal for underdog. That means that there's going to be actually 3 votes, and from what I can see, I actually cannot have more votes at once than 1, which kinda sucks, because that means I get to wait for all of them to finish. Oh, wait. And not through tweet. I could make a straw poll, but then you cannot vote with nulls, which is... Yeah, it's possible that only big streamers can do stuff. Actually, let me see. Oh, I have so many buttons to add ads. So many. Yeah, I don't see option to start another one, because it's the same button that started the first one. But yeah, it seems pretty obvious who's going to win. You guys, does the voting with nulls work? It does. Nice. Good, good, excellent. And there's like 5 seconds left. 4, 3, 2, 1. 0, -1. Yeah, it doesn't actually show. And it's Persia, who would have thought? Persia becoming the actual sick man of /R Europe. Oh man, feels bad. So not that we have an actual second vote, let's get through the less interesting one and vote for the ultimate underdog. Who should we receive the ultimate underdog award? Not expecting too many votes on this one, so let's skip it to 1 minute. I'm not wasting my nulls. You know about the thingy where you get like I think every 5 or 10 minutes Twitch gives you a button that if you click it you get 50 nulls. Just, you know, it's like making sure you're watching the stream or something. That's usually how I get my nulls on Twitch. Well, channel points, it's not nulls everywhere. There actually are few votes. More than I would expect. It means at least 2 people voted. Oh, actually, 3 people voted. I can actually see that, how many points were used. So that's interesting. And surprise, surprise, it's actually Portugal coming in as an actual underdog, coming into the vote out of nowhere and then winning it. What surprise. And now for the oh yeah, if the I guess who would be a tiebreaker? I guess I would be the deciding the tiebreaks, right? We should receive the Victorian Victory Award. USA. Now it's gonna be 2 minutes. It's USA, Belgium, Russia. Yes. Let's go. Let's see who has the best sponsors. USA starting strong, of course. Though with not using all of their cannons at once, from what I can see. Russia tying up. Still, it's pretty calm. USA, it's the same person. I wonder who that is, gaining the advantage. Mysterious Russian sponsor is tying it up, only to be outvoted by USA yet again, though there is a mysterious third voter. Someone is supporting the United States, which is truly mysterious. So far, United States is the only nation that has more than 1 voter. Oh, the nulls are being used. Oh my god. It is still being very tight, I guess. I mean, if it's the tiebreak. Yeah, nobody wants to show their full hand, because you never know, next time there might be another vote. And you'll need your vote and your nulls for that. Yeah, the question is, did Mexico break their plan and decide to actually vote for the United States? Because apparently the Mexican nulls were not being used to support in the previous votes, so there should be many nulls. It looks like it was actually Russia winning this by 1 vote. I Fun. Nice. Okay, so now that everything is clear about the tiers and clear awards, we know who's the victor from the last session. Somehow it's Russia. Who's the underdog? Portugal, which I can see, and the segment of our Europe, which unfortunately I can also kind of see. And the tier list is also done with the empty Ottoman tier. Okay, so let's put this into the meme channel. Is this here? Yeah. Okay, so this is finally going to be done. It took way more than I thought, so oof. It was actually a bit tiring. Didn't do streaming for a while, so got out of practice. But yeah, see you guys tomorrow for the actual session. Bye guys.